The Finding Purpose podcast is proudly brought to you by Relive the Moments, founded by visionary entrepreneur John Lim. We live in a world where it's easy to capture memories, but Relive the Moments makes it effortless to re-experience and share them. From NFC-enabled tap coasters and photo frames to interactive video cards, Relive the Moments turns everyday objects into unforgettable tap-to-experience keepsakes. Imagine gifting a wedding guest a coaster that instantly opens your highlight reel, or giving your event sponsors a custom frame that tells your story with just one tap. Whether you're celebrating a milestone, planning a wedding, honoring a legacy, or elevating a brand experience, Relive the Moments is the bridge between the past and present, between memory and connection. It's not just a product, it's an experience. Visit www.relivethemoments.com and use promo code PURPOSE for 25% off your first order. Let's bring your memories to life, one tap at a time.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Finding Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Adam Vora, and I'm so grateful to have you here. This podcast is all about exploring the journeys of incredible individuals, people who have faced adversity, found their purpose, and are now making an impact in their communities. But it's also about my journey. Over the years, I've faced my own obstacles, moments of doubt, and struggles with identity. Through it all, I found my purpose in giving back, creating a space where people can detach from the negative emotions and stigmas they may associate with their own stories, just like I did with mine. Here, we have real conversations about growth, resilience, and transformation. Whether you're searching for direction, striving for personal development, or simply looking for a place to feel seen and understood, this is for you. So if these conversations resonate with you, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with us on social media. Now let's dive into today's episode.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Finding Purpose podcast. I'm Adam, and I'm so grateful to have you here. Whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts or watching on the official YouTube channel of the Finding Purpose podcast, thank you for continuing to show up. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share. It truly helps us grow this purpose-driven community. Last week's conversation with Daniel Sears dove into what it really means to build sustainable excellence from nervous system healing to peak performance, and how to reclaim a sense of power in a pressure-filled world. Today, we continue in that spirit of alignment and self-reclamation through a story grounded in transformation, creativity, and sobriety. Jesse Morgan is the founder, designer, and owner of Malocchio Lifestyle apparel, a brand rooted in edge, intention, and rebirth. He's also the host of the new Lease on Life podcast, where he amplifies the voices of sober individuals living fulfilling lives and shares the path that brought them there. And if that wasn't enough, he's also the creator of the Malocchio Reset YouTube channel, home of quick, accessible meditations designed to help people decompress, reset, and breathe. Jesse is a fitness maniac, a former DJ and a producer, and a proud New Yorker raised in Mount Vernon with deep ties to the Bronx. He's worked over 20 years in the restaurant industry, but what stands out most is the commitment he's made to himself. Nearly 4 years of sobriety, 3 years cigarette-free, and an active presence in the AA community. This is a conversation about ownership, of identity, energy, and healing. It's about designing a life that actually feels good to live in. And I'm super excited to have you here, man.
Yo, thank you for having me, man. This is a blast.
Yeah, this is like way overdue. We've been trying to connect.
Definitely.
I'm so glad that we finally got in this moment. So I ran over a lot. You've done a lot in your life. And obviously the thing that we have in common is, sobriety and that journey of healing, which I do think is essentially the framework to a lot of personal development programs now, but people don't even know it. Talk to me a little bit about just like that early journey. I know you grew up out there in Mount Vernon, so maybe we could just jump into there and then kind of see where the conversation takes.
I mean, the first thing I would say would be like what you're talking about with the self-development is completely on point, because my experience, like self-development is great. It's amazing. But nothing will trump like an AA 12-step program. Like what you're going to learn about yourself, other people, the changes you're going to make are nothing can compare.
Yeah.
You know? But with that with that you're getting involved with things like resentment, things of defective character. No self-development program I've seen gets into that type of deep work.
Yeah, it's funny because I think that a lot of people have that stigma with, 12-step programs where it's about God or I need to have a addiction or, there needs to be something like that rather than looking at it as a whole. Because, like the one thing that I learned when I came into the rooms, it was once I removed the substance, there was, under that hood was messy. And it wasn't really about the substance as much. Alcohol was a symptom of the disease.
Exactly.
And, that's something that I think I always tell people that everybody can benefit from a 12-step program, regardless. And people who are receptive to it, when I walk them through it, I talk about the resentment, the cleaning house, but also the spiritual component. Because I think while, yes, people are very less inclined to go towards it if it was religiously affiliated, but now spirituality is like trending. People, in a way.
There's a lot of things you see now that are popular that weren't before, and it's cool. I'm glad. One of them is spirituality. The other one is people not drinking just to not drink.
Yeah.
Not because they have a problem and their life's a disaster.
Yeah.
And you've never seen that before. In let's say like 1984. I think I see a guy be like, "Oh, I'm not drinking."
Yeah.
Like just because I don't think it's good for my health.
Yeah.
That guy's not drinking because if he does, everything's going to be in shambles.
Yeah. How much time do you got now?
I'm going to be 4 years in November.
4 years in November.
How much time do you have?
I'll have 3 years August 4th.
Awesome, bro. Congratulations. It's coming up. Anniversary
It's coming up. Yeah, my
coming up.
anniversary coming up. It's funny because usually I go down to South Carolina because that's where I got sober. And this year I'm staying here and I'm probably going to go to South Carolina the second week and celebrate with my people down there. But it really is... It's really evolved where I've leaned into like the spiritual side a lot more. And, like the first year, it's like you're just kind of grinding and getting through it. And it's like, they say the first year is really important. Something that someone told me about that was because you have to go through every single day of the year sober. 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all of these annual milestones, you need to survive them once. So that's why they instruct you not to really make any big changes. And then the second year, for me was actually more difficult than the first in the sense where, that was also when I kind of launched my business. That was also when I started to make bigger changes. And now, this past third year has really been leaning into the spiritual component for me and just really working to be spiritually centered in the middle. And that's something that now I am conscious of. And I wasn't really probably year 1 or year 2 because that wasn't my focus. So 4 years ago, what led to that decision? I mean, we talk about bottoms a lot.
Probably like a lot of other people who became sober, life got worse and worse and became out of control.
Were you a drinker?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Drinking was a huge component of everything I would do.
Yeah.
So if things were going great, you would celebrate with a drink. If things were going bad, you would negate it with a drink.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time before you're drinking all the time, around the clock.
It's funny, dude, because yesterday I was sitting down with a couple people and they're talking about how they don't drink anymore. And kind of what you were alluding to earlier, where they stop drinking because they're leaning into fitness or because of their blood pressure or because it's no longer, whatever, And, I made it a point to say, see, the reason why I drink is because... like we drank for different reasons. My relationship with alcohol was very different. And I think I said something along the lines of my relationship with alcohol was that it was controlling me, but you guys were able to control it
Exactly.
by just saying, hey, you don't drink anymore. And it's a very thin line because, I sometimes, I don't know why this keeps coming up. I tell people, like, sometimes I look at people who do that and then they're like marketing it. And I'm like, all right, well, there's a bunch of people who, when you make it look that easy, it's almost a slap in the face to them because, their next drink can actually kill them. You know, so
it's different because one is a choice and one is life or death.
Yeah.
And one is something that controls you. We were at an event together and we were talking about being alcoholics. And somebody there, I don't know if you remember this, somebody said, "Why do you guys still call yourself alcoholics?
Yeah.
You don't drink anymore." And they're not in the program. They're not addicts, alcoholics. They don't understand. So it's okay, but we're always alcoholics. We're either using or non-using.
Yeah.
And that has to be reminded to myself. That's one of the reasons I go to meetings is to remember that I'm alcoholic, because I will forget if I'm not active in the AA program.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eventually think, oh, I'm okay. I can
Make an
have
excuse,
a drink once in a while.
And I've done that multiple times, 4 or 5 times, where I relapsed and I didn't have really purpose-driven sobriety. And, you know, one of the points that I made to them actually was, you know, the difference between me and you is that I suffer from the disease of alcoholism. And that disease of alcoholism is constantly telling me that I don't have that disease. And that's unlike any other disease. A diabetic, no diabetic, their diabetes isn't saying, oh, you could go eat sugar. You know, then that's really the main differentiating line between, you know, the folks who just are able to put it down and the folks who it's a one day at a time kind of situation. Even if you got 5 years or 4 years or 3 years or 20 years. So I think that's like the point that I made yesterday. Claudia was here and we were talking about that. Talk to me about, you know, I want to talk a little bit about your upbringing just so I like know so my audience knows where you came from.
Yeah, sure.
And then we'll
So I was born and raised in Mount Vernon, New York. I have a brother. I have a sister. I'm the oldest. Our background is a mix of different nationalities. So I'm part Italian, I'm part Lithuanian, I'm part Irish, and I'm part Welsh. So I would always tell people I'm the true American cocktail.
That's ironic.
I was always into music, fashion. When I got older, in my early 20s, I moved to the Bronx with one of my buddies, and we started getting involved in DJing. We started getting involved in producing electronic music. I turned 50 this year.
It's crazy, bro.
So yeah,
you're only 50.
So thank you. But this was an era where kids don't understand this. We were DJing with records.
Yeah.
Okay.
Turntables.
Turntables, records. Tracks were hard to get. You couldn't go online and download stuff. Like if you had a track nobody else had, it was a big deal. You know, it was the record. You had to go to a record shop, find it. These were independent pressings, not too many out there. It was a great time. When you DJ'd, you had to actually know how to beat match.
Really?
Yeah. There's no machine telling you, oh, this is 120, this is 120. Put them together. Yeah, it was all ear.
It's so funny because I think I saw something where a DJ was on one of those late night shows, and he recorded like the clink of a glass, and then did everything on his phone.
Anybody
crazy.
Anybody could DJ now.
Yeah.
You know,
That was back then when it was like an art.
You had to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And it didn't take a week. It didn't take a month. It took a long time to figure it out, how to do it. If you went to a show, you had to bring these milk crates of records, maybe your equipment.
That's crazy.
It's a big deal. You really had to enjoy it.
Yeah.
To be willing to put in all that work.
It's so funny, man, because, you know, I'm not that type of person. Like, I'm not in the arts. Like, you're in arts and you're in fashion. And when did you really just realize, like, this is my passion. This is what I want to do. Like, I want to keep using that artistic side of my brain and just continue to grow that way.
Always.
Like, were you good in school?
I was medium. I didn't really put much effort in.
Yeah.
And I did let's say like B's.
Yeah. Without
really any effort. If I actually applied myself, I could probably get A's.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really into it. You know?
Yeah, dude, I hear you. So, like, you know, art obviously like playing a huge part. What do you love most about art and just that world? Because it is a very different world.
Well, if you're like viewing art or listening to art, you can interpret it any way you want. It doesn't have to be, oh, this means this. It's what does this mean to you?
Yeah.
Right? So it's a personal experience. That's what I love. When you're making art, you're just expressing yourself. And you're not, if you're going into it, treating it like art instead of treating it like a business or something that people are going to like. You're just putting out there, hey, this is the mood I was feeling that day. This is what I was thinking about, and it's an expression of yourself.
Yeah, it really is. I just don't have that skill set, man. And I look at fashion falling under art. I look at, music falling under art because they're like very expressive. For me, it's more words. I can talk and I can express myself that way, or communication, but putting, my blood, sweat, and tears into something and then like creating something, that's like so far. What was the first thing that was there a moment when you're like, oh, wow, like this is like awesome. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
Probably like drawing, like just as a kid.
Yeah.
Just putting stuff together and getting lost where you don't even know where you are. Time and space doesn't even exist.
Yeah. Nice, man. I was going to say, I kind of want to know what you want to talk about. I feel like,
I mean, we could talk about all types of stuff.
Yeah.
There's so many things I want to talk to you about. I'd love to talk to you about your whole experience with like restaurant career.
Yeah, dude.
Sobriety.
We both worked in the restaurant career, in the restaurant industry. And for me, I mean, I had a hell of a lot of fun in it. But, for my DNA, it probably wasn't the best. Dude, so I miss it. It's funny because sometimes I do bartend over at a bar near my house, and it's kind of like back in the day, but it's a very different mindset than I had back then. Back then I was really there to make friends and socialize and what are we doing after work. And nowadays it's more like I just want to make money, and like I love all the people I work with, and I love all the the patrons and whatnot, but I have a very transactional relationship with that role, and I'm only there maybe once a week, but it's such a different perspective when you've been able to shift it. It's like, because sometimes I sit at the bar and I look on the other side of the bar, I'm like, that was fucking me. That was me, that drunk asshole.
It's scary.
Who is being rude to me, who's waving their glass, who thinks they're entitled for free drinks because they're there every day. Sometimes I'm like, that was fucking me. So I have these moments where it's like where I pause and I'm like, wow.
I remember working in the restaurant field, and I would do everything. So some nights even play every role, right? As far as front of the house, whether it's waiter, bartend, manage, book parties, set up menus, all that stuff. And just the skill set I learned from that industry is crazy.
Yeah.
As far as being able to multitask at the same time, dealing with people who are not sober, learning patience of having to stay late. The amount of knowledge I learned about food was crazy.
It's so funny, man, because I go to restaurants now. Are you really critical? Because I am. In my head, I am. In my head, I'm like,
I know it sucks from in 2 seconds.
Yeah. A restaurant sucks, the service sucks.
Everything. I know everything. Yeah, I could tell right away.
That's true.
No, listen, I know what it's like. People are trying their best.
I mean, I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying now I feel like I'm an asshole. I'm saying when I go to a restaurant for the first time, right? I can tell what's not being done right. If I ordered a steak, did they mark the table? If I ordered a soup, did they mark the table? Things like that, So I am attentive to that, but it sucks because sometimes I go to my best friend. He's a chef. He's an executive chef. So I rarely ask him to go out to eat because he'll be like, I could have just made this at home and I could have made it better. He's literally said that.
He's right.
And so it's funny because I recently took him to a restaurant in Fairfield. It's called Ash. It's one of the best restaurants, I think, in Fairfield, Westchester County. And it was the first time I took him to a restaurant, and he was like, everything about this meal was perfect.
You picked a winner.
I picked a winner, bro. I picked a winner. But yeah, the skill set that you get working in a restaurant. And I had Mike Spindler on this podcast too. Me and him worked at Capitol Grill together, and yeah, the skill set that because it's sales, bro. It's sales, and people don't realize it. And a tip is a commission. It's commission based sales. And it was my first real experience with that, where it's like, all right, the commission is based on how well I do.
It's almost like your own first baby business.
Yeah.
Because you can develop a following. You can have people who only want to deal with you. You kind of get to learn what they like, what they don't like, timing, right? I'm sure you've had some customers who they're in a rush.
Yep.
And they got to get out of there. And there's other customers who they want this to be the whole night. So let there be a half hour between every course. And if you can nail that for somebody, they want you to take care of them again.
Yeah. It's like, you're right. It is kind of like
Your
the
own
first
baby
experience
business.
with entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because we go to a lot of events with entrepreneurs and we network and we shake a lot of hands. And let's talk about that journey for you for a little bit. And what's it been like?
I wouldn't have lasted half this amount of time without sobriety.
Fair.
100%. Because I've tried to do things in the past
Yeah.
when I was drinking and you lose interest, you get discouraged, you don't want to put in all the effort. So this time I was sober.
Yeah.
And it was completely different where when things go wrong, they don't bother me like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
When things are great, I'm not assuming it's always going to be like that.
What were like some other businesses that you had tried to do in the past, but you were active and you weren't able to?
I remember I was trying to do my own mortgage thing many, many years ago. I tried to do T-shirts probably like 10, 12 years ago. And, I didn't get any bites within the first 6 months, and that was it. Whereas I went into this with such a long-term strategy.
Yeah.
To just kind of just keep pounding at people, keep banging stuff out, keep putting stuff out, and whoever's into it is into it, and not try to have this idea to become this huge conglomerate.
Yeah.
Just let it take its course, and whatever it's supposed to be, but keep true to what you want the product to be and how you want the business to operate.
Yeah, totally.
It's like one thing I was always into. I was like, listen, a portion of the proceeds are going to a drug and rehab facility, like for sure. And I didn't even want anybody to know that right away because I kind of felt like, I don't want people to buy the product just because of that. But it's part of the product.
Yeah.
So, I tell people now all the time.
Yeah. And you know what, frankly? If that's the reason they bought it, great.
But you know what?
know?
Every business could do that.
Yeah.
You're just making a little less profit.
Yeah. And, and you write it off, then you write that off.
Exactly.
Because it's like you're the one donating the proceeds anyway.
Yeah.
So whatever. But like it's where it's coming from. It's where it's coming from. Obviously that matters. And I think that's something that makes your brand really unique. And like how do you like kind of navigate, like, you said that in the past there were things that would challenge you during the journey and you would quit or you'd get discouraged. What's the thought process now when you're faced with a challenge?
It's a great question. Thought process now is this is just a learning lesson. So it's not the end of the world. I'm not trying to get a 40-0 record, right, with no losses playing basketball. I'm trying to win for the year. I'm not trying to win every game.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, I was trying to win every game.
Yeah.
And I've also linked up and networked with so many guys this time instead of trying to do things on my own and not consult with anybody, not lean on other people, not work together on projects.
Yeah.
So when you meet other people that are on the same journey as you and they're right around you, where you are, or they're a little above you or they're a little below you, you become a team.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to win. And if you're winning, it doesn't mean I'm losing.
Yeah. It's so funny, man, because I totally agree with you. And, as we led with, a lot of the principles that we learn in AA, I apply it to everything. Like, don't be afraid to ask for help. Find a mentor. Connect with people who are like-minded. All of these concepts are things that, I had to practice in my life, when it came to like my sobriety. But now, like, yeah, I apply it to everything. Particularly in business when it's like, all right, like I'm in a, jam business wise, call someone who's done it before me, who knows how to do it. Whether it's technical, a lot of times it's technical because I'm not, you ask Claudio, I'm not great with the editing. I'm not great with, a lot of these technical things that he is. And
dude, I can barely use my cell phone.
Bro.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm not afraid to ask for help. I think a lot of people are.
It's your ego. And ego is one of the things you work on when you're doing 12 steps of AA.
Yeah. Well, what were you? It's so funny, man, because you are one of the most like calm demeanored, easy to approach, laid back kind of guy that I've met in a very long time. Like even that first time we met at an Ace dinner, ironically, we were seated next to each other. It came up and we immediately connected on the fact that we were sober.
Yeah.
And then I think you asked me to like speak at a meeting in Mamaroneck. I went to that meeting. That was awesome. Great people. Like, but what were you like? What were some character flaws that you were able to look at and identify that you had to tackle right away early on in the program? So I can't imagine you any other way.
So they get revealed to you.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily like, oh, I know you can't. There's some things that are super obvious.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I have road rage, things like that. Like it's kind of obvious, but there's other things you don't even, as you don't even know you have these defects because we all think everybody loves me. Oh, I don't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And slowly you figure it out. But I definitely had an issue with road rage. 100%. Like if anybody was driving away, I didn't like it. It was a problem. There was a period in time where if I was at a light and somebody behind me beeped, like as soon as it turned green, I would immediately get out of the car and just get all in their face.
Really?
Yeah. There was a huge period of time. It was towards the end of the drinking when I was drinking more and more. So here's another interesting thing. As I was drinking more and more, my patience and tolerance for anything got less and less and less and less. That was a big thing. I would always size people up, judge them, make huge assumptions. As far as ego, I thought I was definitely the center of the world. So if I reached out to you and you didn't call me back in a couple of days, or if you forgot, I would jump to huge conclusions, make assumptions, be really angry, hold a resentment against you. Whereas now, as time passed and you learn a little more, that's, you're not the star of the show, that, people have other things going on. People forget. People are super busy.
Yeah. People aren't trying to hurt
more understanding,
you. Yeah.
Of other people. It's a great life. I'm really at peace. I'm really at very happy with like where I am in life.
How do you lean into that spiritual component? And let's talk a little bit about spirituality because I think it's a huge part of who we are.
So like one thing I think everybody should know is like the AE program is a spiritual program. It's not a religious program. I know I didn't know that.
Yeah. I didn't really even care to know it, last time. The times that I've tried it, I didn't care.
Like I have Jewish friends I went to rehab with, and they were like, "I'm not doing AA. I'm not Catholic." And I'm like, "Bro, it's not any of that."
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But people will find excuses to not do what they want, to keep doing what they want to do, even though they know it's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things for me at like past attempts to like get into the program and whatnot was I had to question everything. Acceptance was the biggest thing that I struggled with any other previous time that I walked into a room, because the consequences that got me into them, I was having trouble accepting. So I was pushing back at anything that could have helped me, questioning whether it'd be effective, questioning the God part, questioning who's the sponsor guy, questioning all of these things. When if I just really surrendered, it was like, all right, like, sure. It's not like these guys are going to hurt me. Had I done that in previous times, fine. You know, who knows? Maybe I would have had like 8 years now. But, you know, I'm also a firm believer that I was meant to relapse and I was meant to learn from this situation. More bad things were meant to happen to me. Not bad things, but more consequences for my actions.
Learning lessons.
Lessons, man.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, like I've had, you know, so many lessons leading up to, you know, August 4th, 2022. And, you know, in that moment, the biggest lesson for me was really, I was just exhausted. And I see so many people that I meet in life, and I want to help them all, because now I feel like I have this gift, you know, and so sometimes I think when I give people advice, it's always got that, you know, 12-step kind of message behind it, but I have to word it in a way that they can understand and they can receive. And I think that's something that I've also gotten better at in this third year, because I remember, you know, my partner was telling me that she was talking to a therapist, and she was telling her like what I said to her, and her therapist was like, he's 12-stepping you. And it's because the way I was packaging up the advice was very much in a 12-step way. Now I've learned to just word things in a way where non-12-steppers and non-alcoholics can wrap their head around, where it comes off in a very, you know, sincere way. Because it is sincere, you know?
No, it comes from the right place, but when we get involved with something, we're kind of very gung-ho about it, and we want everybody in the world to know about it, and we want everybody to get on that team.
Yeah.
But what was explained to me was, like, you could throw somebody a lifesaver, they could be drowning, but if they're not ready to get saved, you can't force them.
Yeah.
You know, and it may not be their time, and that time may be later down the road, or it may be never.
Yeah.
But you can't force anybody. Think about like you or me. If at a certain point in your life, let's say 10 years ago, somebody's like, you need to go to AA, you need to get sober. As soon as somebody tells you what you need to do, you're going to do the opposite.
Yeah.
At least I am. That's me.
You always push back
know?
against it.
Yeah. So it's like you have to be ready. That's why they say people's bottoms are different.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody has a different bottom. Their bottom might be a year of crazy drinking. Their bottom might be 30 years of wild drinking. But there comes a point where it sounds cliche, but you're either going to get sober, you're going to die, or you're going to go to jail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
It's true. And I literally got 2 out of 3 of those, bro. You know, at the end of the day, I was staring down the barrel of the third one. So at the end of the day, like, I think that, you know, the resilience that it's allowed me to, you know, sometimes I sit back, bro, and I'm like, damn, you know, I survived a lot. Do you ever do that?
Sometimes I'm like, well, how am I still here? Like, they're like, God has a purpose for people to be here. And whatever that may be is different for everybody, but everybody has a purpose. And the more and more I think about it, not to get like whooshy or whatever you want to call it.
No, get there. That's what the place is for.
The more and more I think about it, I think about like plants and animals and like the whole thing, right? And like why does like a vegetable, like, it makes flowers and its purpose is to like just make more of itself and then die. Like, it doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? It doesn't live a life. It doesn't like its job is to produce more and die, produce more and produce more and die. And it's for something else.
Yeah.
Right? So it's making more, and then that's for the deer. And then the deer is making more, and then that's for us. And then we're here and we're making more, and what's that for? I think it's to help other people.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I do believe that, like, people, like, most people are good. You know, I think most people are good, and I think, you know, talking about what you were just alluding to, it's just like this crazy system that's way far beyond my comprehension as to like, yeah, why vegetables evolve in the way they do, why animals evolve in the way they do. You know, for me, you know, what I take away from that when I think like that is I am just a very small pawn in this whole thing. I'm a very small piece in this entire thing, but what I can do to really create the most value with, you know, my existence is, like you said, help other people, you know, help anyone, frankly, you know, and that's something that I share that a lot, where it's like, you know, for the entire first half of my life, you know, I was a bunch of taker. I was a take,
100%.
Use, whatever. Very transactional. And, you know, now in this chapter of my life, it's really very much about giving. Quick break to shout out our sponsor, Relive the Moments. Founded by John Lim, they're redefining how we share memories. From tap-to-play photo frames to interactive coasters, they turn ordinary objects into powerful, shareable experiences. Perfect for weddings, events, or milestone moments. Relive, reconnect, reimagine. Check them out at www.relivethemoments.com. Now back to the show.
It's a cool journey to remember like how shitty life was, and not necessarily anything to do with like your physical health or financial, but just more how much of a shitbag your thinking was.
Yeah.
You know, it's basically, what can I get from you? And then once I get what I want from you, I have no interest in you anymore.
Yeah.
If you need something from me, if it's not inconvenient, maybe.
Yeah.
If there's something like I'm going to miss out on, even though you already did me a solid, you're shit out of luck.
Yeah. It's funny though, bro, because, you know, as an entrepreneur, there's pieces of that mindset that I need to bring into that world when it comes to like really detaching emotion from who I do business with. You know, there's a lot of times where there are friends who will reach out and be like, oh, like, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of that. And it doesn't align well. And, you know, I need to also, you know, set boundaries in that sense. So, yeah, I was a shitbag and I was doing it for all the wrong reasons back then. But now, you know, now that, you know, I've done the work on myself and I'm beginning to love myself and appreciate my own value, it's okay to say no to people who care about you. And it's okay to really filter out the noise of people who care about you, because sometimes, you know, I just had Roman on and he was sharing how sometimes the people who love you the most may not be the best suited to give you the best advice.
Definitely.
Do you have like people in your life that along this journey?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You know, like there's relatives that, you know, they tell you what to do, what not to do. But I kind of ignore anybody who hasn't done or isn't where I want to be.
Yeah.
So if you're going to tell me the best way to learn Japanese language, you don't know how to speak Japanese and you never studied Japanese, I don't give a fuck what you tell me. Like, whatever. Okay. Yeah, I'll look into that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's, where are you getting it from? How can I tell you, you got to go to this restaurant in Italy, right? Because I saw it on TV. Right? Like, I don't know what it's like. If you haven't done it or experienced it yourself, the value is not there.
The value in the advice.
Yeah. Yeah, the value in the advice is not there. But you don't have to, you know, there's a way to just kind of ignore stuff and let stuff go. That was another thing with sobriety.
Yeah.
Was, you know, what do you want to do? Like, it was always trying to, like, before it was trying to, like, win an argument.
Yeah.
Right? And proving your point. And whereas just let shit go. Like, okay, like, it's not important at the end of the day, at the end of the year, at the end of your life.
It really isn't, man. And
Just dumb little shit. Who cares? Just, okay, it's what you believe. It's fine, whatever.
You know, one of the people who I'd had to dismiss their opinions the most is my dad. And me and my dad have a great relationship, and there are things that he was right about. If he's listening, and I know he does listen, there were plenty of things.
Shout out to Dad.
Shout out to Dad, bro. There were plenty of things that he was right about. But when it came to certain things, I had to say, okay, like, you've never done this before, or you don't know the people I'm working with. And, you know, don't get me wrong, he was right about like plenty of things.
Probably the majority.
Along the way.
Right?
Well, because he knows me well, you know.
But also he's got wisdom from living life longer than you.
This is true.
And there's just basic stuff you learn with more time on Earth.
But I'm not going to go to my dad for a social media strategy.
Nah, man.
You know, he doesn't
do
fucking know.
But you could go to him and be like, hey, what do you think is the most effective way to just talk to somebody and for them to relate?
No, I cannot go to my dad and ask him that question. You got to meet my dad.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Sorry, Dad. You know, that was great. So, like, so since we're talking about my dad, let's talk about, like, how your relationship with your family changed from, like, before and after. You come from a big family?
So I have a brother, I have a sister.
Nice.
I have a mom, I have a dad. You know, my grandmother is still alive. I just went to see her in the nursing home not too long ago. She's 99 years old.
God bless. Bro.
Yeah.
I need to get her on the podcast.
Dude, she's an inspiration, you know? Like, because she'll say stuff like, she's so strong and just, like, who she is in her life.
Yeah.
We'd be like, all right, we'll see you tomorrow. She's like, if that's what God wants, if not, I'm cool, whatever. Like, yeah,
wild.
like, dude, she's content with, like, you know, the whole journey. And, you know, I think that's important too, is to kind of realize, at least for me, right? Everybody believes different stuff, but like this life on earth, this is just level 1. For me, there's more. There's a place after this. So what I'm doing here is really just practice and initiation. So how I perform depends what's going to happen next.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
I love that.
You know?
I love that perspective because it's unique, but it's also like hopeful. It's hopeful that the best is yet to come.
That's the thing that took me a while to figure out with spirituality. There's no science in it. So, show me this. Give me that science. Data. This worked. This test. This was done. This. The word faith is involved for a reason, because you believe. You have a feeling. You don't try to understand and figure out why is this happening to me? Why is God doing this? Why, we don't know. Nobody knows. Don't try to figure it out. Yeah. Keep it simple.
So what is your spiritual practice?
So I grew up Catholic, and like a lot of people kind of lose interest in it, but you're never really, it's forced down your throat. Yeah. So I went to Catholic grammar school, Catholic high school, and you go to church, you say prayers, you take religion, but you're not into it. At least I wasn't. It never like spoke to me. It was just something you had to do. And it's very monotonous. You're saying prayers, but you're not, you're just going through the motions. Mm-hmm. It was more reasons to celebrate holidays, Christmas, different saint days, things to do with certain food, traditions, like all that part I was cool with. But until I got sober, I really started developing a relationship with God. So when I first got sober, I really wasn't sure, like, if there was a God, if it was the universe. I just knew there was something bigger than me. I didn't know exactly what. And with time, I got back into the Catholic religion. And I go to church, I do readings. I like to get involved with that. And I like to think about things in a deeper way than just today or this lifetime.
Yeah.
And it helps me not think about things that are silly or frivolous. Yeah. And let stuff go.
Yeah. I mean, letting stuff go is so important.
Yeah.
And, I like how you talked about your relationship with God and the spiritual component and how it's evolved, because I could say the same, like my relationship with God, man, like I mean, I was raised Jewish. I went to Jewish day school from K through 5, got bar mitzvah, the whole 9. And, we were practicing Jews, quote unquote, really up until the age of like 26 when my mom died, right? So when my mom died, I mean, she was the one who really carried the torch in religion for our family. So at that point, I was dating a Catholic girl. So I'd been around Catholicism. I think every girlfriend I've ever dated was Catholic. And then, my dad's Hindu. But I'd been around all these different faiths. My thing with God, though, I really thought that he turned his back on me for a very long time. Now, if I'm being honest, I thought he turned when my mom died.
Normal. Yeah, I was just about to say it's very normal.
Yeah, when my mom died, then I had a best friend commit suicide. It was, and the question I would always ask him is why, why, and I think he doesn't really owe you an explanation. It's more, I got to get internal when things happen and accept first, and then where can I find a gift in this somewhere? Even in the chaos, even in the sadness, even in the grief, it's important to extract a gift out of those. And that's something that in these past 3 years, I've been able to really look at those dark turning points in my life and extract the lessons and the blessings and the love also in those moments. Because rather than being angry at God for it, why can't I just be appreciative that I had such a great mother for the amount of time that I had her?
Whole different perspective.
Right? Perspective.
So for me, a whole bunch of things play into that. One is everybody wants to say, why is this happening to me? Who said this was about you? Back to the whole ego thing. You're not the star of the show. You're not the center of the universe. She died, but that affected a lot more people than just you.
Yeah.
Right? Secondly is the whole thing of stop trying to understand everything. Right? You think you're going to understand why God does stuff? There's no way. It's impossible. We're like one little dot in the painting.
It's so true, man.
And the painting is, thousands and thousands of years.
The biggest painting on the wall.
You're that little dot, and I'm that guy.
It's so funny.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I believe in a heaven. So, to me, when somebody dies, they're going to an amazing place. So, if you told me, hey, I'm moving to this Italian villa, and you're never going to see me again. Like, I'm going to be sad that I won't see you and get to hang out with you and talk to you. But I'm shouldn't be sad that you're in an amazing, great place. So, why am I sad? I'm sad because I miss you, but I'm also sad because I'm selfish, because I want you to be part of me. And that's my belief.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of look at it.
Well, it's funny because circling back to what we were talking about, how asking why in those situations, particularly of loss. How about look at it from her perspective? She was suffering. How come looking at it from my best friends?
Right. Yeah.
From my best friend's perspective, she was hurting mentally. It was about putting them in a peaceful place, and that's something that I really am able to do now that I don't think I ever was, because I ran the show. It was all about me. My feelings are hurt. I'm sad. I'm annoyed. I'm discontent. Whatever. And it's so funny, bro, how it just you change your way of thinking, bro.
So for me, you go to enough AA meetings and it's osmosis.
Mm-hmm.
You change. You become a different person.
Yeah, dude, I go to this meeting every morning, or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I go to this meeting. It's right there on the beach at Penfield Beach in Fairfield. 7 a.m. It's usually about 6 to 10 people. We sit around in a circle. Sometimes in the summer we'll bring bathing suits. We'll go in,
awesome.
Right after, bro. But it's the best way to start your day. But it's always, there's not too many beginners there. It's very much, which I kind of like for certain days. And it's just like a very deep spiritual meaning. The first 5 minutes we do a meditation, and you just hear the waves, bro. You hear the waves. You hear some dogs barking on the beach. It's just like the coolest way to start your day.
There's a lot of power in nature, especially the ocean.
Yeah, dude.
Because you have to respect it. It's a powerful force.
It's crazy, the ocean.
It could be super peaceful, and then it could tear you apart.
Yeah. It's funny because you're absolutely right. Like at that time of day, the water's like glass. You could literally see people swimming, and that's only their ripple and their wave. And then, as the meeting progresses, the waves start to come in. They come in slower and slower. And then, it's cool because now that you pointed out, it's like I noticed that the other day. And nature has been like played such a big role in my life these past 3 years because, in the evenings, I go to St. Mary's by the Sea in Bridgeport, right? And you walk along the water. And what fascinates me most about the power of nature are the tides. Because, some days I could see all the way down. Like it's way down. I could see all the rocks and the bluff. And some days the water's up to the wall. And if you don't believe in a higher power, you don't believe in a God, then I don't know what to tell you because I know I didn't do it. I know you didn't do it. Dude, it's so crazy when you actually like sit there and observe these things. But if I was fucked up sitting on a bench at that beach smoking a blunt, right? I wouldn't care. I wouldn't notice. I wouldn't see the beauty. Bro,
yeah.
It's so crazy. I wouldn't see it. I'd be like, all right, let's go to Wendy's.
Yeah.
It's so crazy, bro.
So I was just talking to somebody yesterday, and we were discussing that God is putting signals in front of you, talking to you with all different types of ways through other people all the time, all day. But most of the time we don't notice it. And when you're not sober, dude, you don't see any of that stuff unless it's extremely something sharp and harsh.
Or negative. Or you only see the negative. And those negative signals that you see, you blame God rather than, extract the beauty out of it and thank him. I think that's where gratitude obviously playing a huge role in our journeys. Talk to me a little bit about that because you're a grateful dude. I mean, obviously we just listened to this whole conversation. Talk to me a little bit about the role gratitude has played in your life and, how gratitude has also played a role in you kind of finding a purpose.
So I used to think about all the things I don't have. What don't I have? I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have that. Whereas now I think about all the things I do have. And it's the opposite. Every morning I have a big morning routine. Every morning, part of it is to write a very simple gratitude list. And I do that every day. And usually on the list is, in no particular order, is sobriety, family, community, shelter, opportunity, challenges, food, health. And when I write it and when I think about it, it makes me this feeling of joy. Like, dude, look how blessed I am. Look how lucky I am. These simple things are all I need.
I love that, man. I think
keep you grounded.
It keeps you grounded, and it also reminds you of how much you used to take for granted.
100%.
Like that's the thing for me. Like I don't really take anything for granted anymore. And sometimes it's tough though because not everyone has that mindset that's around me, who's close to me. And I'm sure you have people in your life who don't approach life in the same demeanor that you do. What do you do to kind of meet them halfway, or how do you navigate those relationships? Because those ones can be the most testing.
I try to stay in a very small circle, and I weed out a lot of people. And one of them is like negativity. So if you're negative, I'm not gonna try to correct you. I'm not gonna try to encourage you either. But I am gonna try to spend the least amount of time with you as possible.
Yeah, I love that, dude. That's so funny. I really want to talk about purpose because it's fucking finding purpose, bro.
That is the name of the show.
It is the name of the show, and You know, what does the word purpose mean to you?
Purpose in the basic form is there's more than you. You're not there for you. You're there for something else, somebody else, some type of service.
I like that. What advice would you give to somebody on the journey of finding purpose?
Let it come natural. Like, don't force. You can't force anything in life.
Okay. Damn, these rapid fire questions.
Bang!
He's really rapid firing them.
Bang!
You know, what are three particular things that you incorporate into your daily life that keep you grounded in your purpose?
Ooh, morning is big. My morning routine can get up to 2 hours, right? So that, the way I feel, the way I try to live is the beginning of the day is all about me, okay? And it's all about me to get myself correct, kind of like seeing a chiropractor, right? Get myself realigned for the day.
I love chiropractor.
And then the rest, I've had good and bad experiences with chiropractors.
Yeah.
Some amazing, some, dude, 6 months out of commission.
Dude, my chiropractor is the coolest guy. His name's Dr. Kip, Southport.
Dude, if you got a
Shout
good,
out to Dr. Kip.
shout out to Dr. Kip.
Awesome.
Dude, if you got a good chiropractor, stick
Keep
with
him.
him, man.
Yeah.
Stick with him. Don't change horses.
He's so cool.
Don't be like, oh,
I'm going to have him on the podcast.
oh,
actually.
he's on vacay. Oh, I'm gonna go see Sebastian. Don't do it.
No.
Promise me.
I don't know who Sebastian is.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know either. I wouldn't dog anybody on camera like that. Just making something up.
So I don't think you went through the three things. What are three non-negotiables that you incorporate into your daily routine for you to stay grounded in your purpose?
Exercise, prayer, meditation, gratitude list, steam room,
Hey.
sometimes juice, like fresh vegetable juice.
Okay.
Big time.
Big time?
Compliment 3 strangers.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, dude, it's powerful.
Huh.
Super powerful. And that's
Talk
kinda,
a little bit more about that.
that's kind of my thing. So I don't know where I got it from, probably from AA through osmosis. But if I'm in a mood where it's like, poor me, wah, 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 I'm like, you know what? Dude, it's time to push your energy into somebody else. Stop focusing on yourself. So find a stranger. Dude, just go up to them, just compliment them. Whatever it could be. Dude, you have great shoes. Oh, I like your shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, you do a really great job. I told somebody this morning, listen, you do a really great job. Keep it up. I want you to know that.
I love that.
It changes you. It will do that. That's the most powerful medicine, my opinion.
Yeah.
For mental shit, it's the best.
Yeah. That's crazy. Dude, I
Yeah.
love that. Claudio, you do a really great job. He's not a stranger, though. He's my friend.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah. No,
That's good practice.
You really do.
Like, that's good practice. But then you got to do it to a stranger.
Okay, I'll find
You
a
do
stranger.
3 strangers a day.
3 strangers a day.
Yeah,
Has anyone ever just looked at you and been like, what the fuck?
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to understand, like, I grew up very, like, and everyone around me is very much on the defensive. Like, we're looking, like, for somebody who's trying to hustle us, who's trying to pickpocket you, who has an angle. So I was the complete opposite of that. Whereas, like, strangers, like, I want nothing to do with you. Like, you say hello to me, like, good morning. Like, I'm not saying good morning back. Like, that was the old me. So I wanted to be the opposite of the old me. And that was one of the things I started doing. And it really got me out of that thinking too much about yourself and your situation. And it's like, let me push my energy into other people instead of, and do whatever I got going on that I think is a big deal. It ends up not being a big deal. And it works itself out.
Dude, I love that. So, like, how has this new you really been infused into Malocchio?
Dude, it's everything, you know?
Like, I want to talk about, like, the values and the mission behind Malocchio.
So basically, I had the idea when I was in rehab for alcohol. So I was there I thought I was going to be there for.
Where'd you go?
I went to Mountainside in Connecticut.
Mountainside, yeah.
Know that spot? Dude.
I speak there sometimes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing place. I was there, and I was like, you know, the clouds are starting to come out. You're starting to think a little clearer. And you're like, you know, I'm starting a new life. You should really do things you always wanted to do. You tried the T-shirts before, but, like, there's a lot of T-shirts I want that don't exist, but they're in my head. So let me just make them for myself. And then a couple of people showed some interest, and it grew from there. But yeah, I push myself into the product. So the products are an extension of me. So I don't do any research. I don't use ChatGPT. I don't see what's popular, what's trending. I don't give a fuck about any of that shit. Like, oh, this type of tiger designs are trending this year. Purple is trending. Like, I never looked at that stuff. I do not care. I treat it like art. And it's just like, listen, this is what I think is dope. This is what I would wear. I would never make anything that I would not wear myself, ever.
I love that.
Yeah.
And how has, like, it helped you to really grow? And, you know, it's also a tool for you to grow.
Dude, it's humongous. Humongous. Between doing AA work and starting your own business at the same time, the amount of growth, crazy.
Yeah.
But as far as just the business, the whole journey of getting on camera and speaking, that alone will jump somebody up in growth just as a person like this.
Yeah.
I remember, and probably a lot of people probably have similar experience. You start out playing with social media, and it starts out with photos. Then it starts out with videos, but you're not talking,
Yeah.
right? You're just there. Maybe it gets into voiceovers that you do later. Then you start talking on camera, and you're right at the camera. You're talking, and you hate it. You hate yourself. You hate the way you look. You hate the way you sound, but you put it out anyway. And that whole thing is, for me, is amazing.
Yeah.
Big thing is, like, stop being so vain. Stop worrying about what you look like. Stop worrying about what you sound like. And worry about the message.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
You know, it's funny, man, because it's been quite a, like, journey just speaking and being out there. And if you told me 5 years ago this is what I'd be doing, I wouldn't have believed you. Like, I'd have a podcast, I'd be running a business, I'd be, you know, doing all these other things that I have upcoming that I can't really say. But, you know, if you told 5 years ago me this shit, I'd be like, all right, like, we're going to the bar.
So when you, let me ask you, when you, like, do you remember, like, speaking on camera, like, in the beginning
of, like, this journey?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was
what
terrible.
Was it like?
I was nervous. I was super uncomfortable. I was worried about what people would think about it.
Yeah.
I was critiquing my own self. I was hesitant. I was scared. Let's put it. I was scared.
Yeah, there's a lot of fear.
I didn't see value in my words. I didn't see value in my story. I didn't see value in any of it. I didn't think that people would listen.
It's so great. Isn't it so great to just push through that?
Yeah. And it's funny because I recently listened to my first episode, and it's night and day. You know, obviously the editing and, you know, the work that Claudio does, you know, it doesn't even compare. But, you know, when I first launched the podcast, I was doing it via Riverside. And my first guest, Beth Brown, close friend of mine. She's like the sweetest human being in the world. And she shared something very personal on this episode via Zoom. And, you know, we get off and she's like, Adam, I did not know I was going to talk about that. And, you know, obviously I offered, I was like, do you want me to edit it out? Blah, blah, blah. No. And she was like, no, like, she was like, this is going to be special. Something along those lines. Because if I was able to like pull that out of her, and not pull that, it just kind of flowed with the conversation, and I put her in a safe space where she felt, you know, comfortable sharing a very personal truth about her journey. Like, I was like, all right, like, this is great. And that's, you know, that really was a big reason why there was an episode 2 and why there was an episode 3. And then now, you know, just connecting with people like you where our stories align and our journeys align, I crave that connection because, you know, one of the things that I've heard in the rooms is connection is the opposite of addiction. And the more people I connect with who are like-minded, who have good intentions, who, you know, are leaning into the right energies, the further away I am from a drink. And only someone like you can truly understand that because we come from a very similar place, which is why it was so important for me to have you on, man.
Dude, I love speaking with other sober people because it's on a different level.
Yeah.
And there's things that people who don't have these issues, they won't get it. And it's okay they don't get it. But it's nice to speak to somebody who actually does.
Yeah.
But what you said, I love. So you said the opposite of addiction is connection. So there's a reason these sober programs that work, whether it's NA or AA or whatever it is, there's a reason it's not, hey, here's this book, go home and just read this book and you'll be okay. And then contact us if you have any questions, right? Like, you're not going to get sober alone.
Yeah.
You're going to get sober with a group.
Cool. Yep.
You're going to get sober with people who are going to teach you things because they've lived it, because they had the same problem you had, right? This guy didn't learn what addiction is in a classroom, in a book, and didn't actually go through it. This is different.
Yeah. Totally.
You know?
Yeah. Dude, I love this conversation, and, you know, so grateful that like we became friends, and I'm super grateful for the merch, the Malocchio merch that you brought me. That shit is sick, bro.
Yeah,
I can't
dude,
wait to
I'm
wear
waiting
it.
for you to wear it in a reel. Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah.
All right. Hell yeah. I'll mark it for you.
Yep.
All right. Hell
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
I'll market that shit for you. Dude, I'm pumped, bro. And you know, I need to come on your podcast. Very
train
soon.
station.
We got to do some train station chatting,
time,
dude.
baby.
Train station people watching.
Yeah, bro.
Dude, I'll come down there within the next month.
Dope.
You know, and I said it on the podcast, and I'll, you know, you got my word. But I would love for you to talk directly to my audience and tell them how they can reach you, what you got going on, anything that you want to share with them. The camera's yours.
Yo, you guys can catch me on all different types of social media, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok I really don't fuck with. Website, MalocchioLifestyle.com. Meditation Reset on YouTube. Malocchio Lifestyle on YouTube. Malocchio Lifestyle on Instagram. A portion of all the proceeds are donated to drug and rehab facilities.
Love that.
Good.
My man, you're great. You guys can also reach out to me, and I'd be happy to connect you with my man, Jesse Morgan, directly. Definitely go to his website and check out the merch show, and just buy something, because that'd be fucking awesome. At the end of the day, I'd like to thank all of you guys, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share. It truly helps us grow this purpose-driven community. I obviously want to thank my boy CV, Claudio, Kai Visions. Feel free to reach out to me so that I can connect them to you for any of your media needs. Definitely reach out to me so I can get the referral, frankly. But at the end of the day, like, I'd love to introduce you to Claudio, whether it's launching your own podcast or marketing your business, whatever you need, he can handle. And then, I also want to thank our sponsor, Live for the Moments. They are a great company. I'm sure you've saw the opening ad and the the middle of the episode ad read as well. Feel free to visit their website, www.liveforthemoments.com. And guys, thank you so much. Follow me at adamvora.com, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you.